So things are looking pretty strong, and across the board there is gains which are very visible. Just put up the Yes Bank stock. I mean, it's kind of sort of flattened out. The only reason I'm highlighting this is because it's basically back to levels where or approaching levels which were the recent highs. I mean, the high on Yes Bank was the day a couple of weeks ago when officially the bank communicated to the stock exchanges that Mr. Gill is taking over as the new MD and is going to take over as the new MD and CEO. I think the price got to about 241 or so, and since then it's not sort of crossed that. It corrected steeply, and it's now, after many weeks, come back approximately, I mean, a few rupees away from those same kind of levels, but 0.5% in a market which is up so strongly. I mean, it's very small. But in any case, Vimal Kejriwal is Managing Director and CEO of KEC International. He's joining us on the phone line to talk about the 1,200 odd crore order that KEC is bagged. Mr. Kejriwal, thank you for your time. Good to have you here. Prashant this side, could you tell us about the order, sir?
So we have today announced orders of roughly around 1,300 odd crores, of which around 22% are from our transmission business and 50% from railways. And we also got our first smart city orders of roughly around 200 odd crores.
So, Mr. Kejriwal, when do you start executing these orders, and what is the kind of margin profile that you would generate on it as well?
So the railway, actually, if you look at it, almost all the orders will start executing immediately, both the transmission railway and the smart city, all of them. And the margin profile would be standard margins, which we have, around 10% and odd. So that would be the margins, across them. You
mentioned Smart City. This is the first time you've bagged an order for the Smart City, the entire project?
This is a new vertical which just started, and we just got two orders, one for a brownfield and one for a, greenfield city.
Okay.
So about 650 crores is just railways, right?
Yes, there are two orders there. One is for composite and one is for electrification, yeah.
And I mean, that's been the revenues there have been growing the fastest for you. So what does this take your order book in the railway segment to, and what's the visibility like from here?
Yeah, railways would roughly be around 5,000 crores of order book. Okay, and our revenues, as you rightly said, has been growing. Every year we have been doubling revenues. Hopefully this year we should be close to 1,800, 1,900 crores of revenue.
Okay, and this is on railway, but what about the smart city? You've bagged two orders. What is the kind of visibility that you're envisaging at this point?
So we have been bidding for almost one or two, or in the last, I'll say 9 months, we have bid for almost 12 tenders in Smart City. Okay, so there is a pretty long visibility right now. We can see on the 100 smart cities, and around 8 or 9 the greenfield ones we are seeing visibility. But right now, I think this would be the last orders till the elections are over now. So I don't think any new orders would come in now.
Okay, and what is your cumulative order book right now, and maybe how do you expect to probably end the fiscal?
So cumulative order book is around 20,000 crores, 20,200 and odd crores, and we have an L1 of another 2,200 crores. So if you take the execution for this month, I think we should end up closer to 19,000 crores, on 1st April.
1/3 of which is railways.
Railways, yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, you mentioned for smart cities should not expect anything till elections are over. I mean, same could be said for across your business lines, right?
See, what is happening is that in railways and other places, we have got tenders which are already quoted. We are L1 in some of them. So, depending upon the the urgency of that, we do expect them. Some of the clients will go back to the government and to the election commission and get approvals. Smart city, we don't have any active tenders right now, which is why I said that probably will not get anything in smart city.
Okay. All right, Mr. Kejriwal, we'll leave it on that note. Thanks very much for joining in and speaking with us. So that is KEC International, orders worth over 1,300 crores. But let's get talking about the technicals of the market. 11:30 a.m. We have some strategies to work with now. Mitesh Thakkar is joining in for that. Mitesh, over to you. What are you recommending? Mid-caps off the day's high, but does that concern you at all?
Good morning. Not much. See, I think, with yesterday's rally and today's follow-through, we've had 2 days when the market has kind of moved up from levels of around 11,000 to 11,300. So I think some profit booking will happen. We are also quite overbought on the hourly charts. But getting past 11,250, 280 in one shot without any kind of serious supply pressure suggests that eventually we will see follow through. So maybe a day or two of consolidation could happen after hitting 11,300. But I think there's a strong possibility that by the end of this expiry, I think 11,500 should be a logical target. Having said that, high of 11,080 now becomes a very important level, should not be filled easily, and therefore any intraday declines of 30, 40, 50 points, close to about 11,230, 250 would be a welcome buying idea with a stop below 11,080 or 180.
Okay, all right. Stocks?
Yeah, I have two stock calls. NBCC is a buy with a stop at 59, look for targets close to about 68, and Colgate Palmolive is a buy, keep a stop at 1280 here and look for targets close to about 1340 over the next few days.
Okay, well, NBCC as well as Colgate. But Mitesh, we have a couple of Twitter queries for you. So Ankush wants to know the right time or the right level to buy Ashok Leyland. This is a question which comes up repeatedly on Ashok Leyland. What is your sense?
So two things here, Ekta. I think one, the stock, we've been recommending it heavily since those 80 levels were hit. If you look at the historical charts, there was a big bottom between 1875 and October 16, and we tested those levels. So in that sense, I think that's the buy. If he wants to do it for investment query, I think anything close to 80, 85, anytime the stock comes in, I think would be a welcome buying area. For trading, if somebody wants to look at it, I think the stock has rallied from 80, 85 to about 95. So I think a pullback to short-term averages, medium-term averages would be a welcome entry point. For trading, I think 89 half to about 90 half is your buying zone. Keep your stop loss below 88, and I think on the upside 95 this time should be crossed and 100 should be your next logical target. So wait for that pullback to happen. I think whenever you are close to about 91, 90 half, buy with a stop below 88 for targets of around 100.
Yeah, any thoughts on DLF, Mitesh? The high was 193, recent high, swing high, December of 2018, fell to 140, back at 186. Yeah.
I had a recommendation on this stock early in the morning today, and you've identified the targets. 193 is what I had suggested, that being the swing high.
Ah, okay. All right. Thanks very much. Appreciate you joining in, and good speaking with you there, Mitesh. We'll speak again. 123 on the Nifty, 11,291 is where we are at this point in time. So 1.25% on the mid-cap index, I think, has come off a fair bit, actually. The high was 17,952, so we've given back about 50 points from the high. And let's just quickly see if the small cap index has done the same. I think, yeah, the small cap index has also given back some gains. The high there today was 6601. And there again, we've 30-40 point pullback on the small cap index as well. From the day's high, that is, but still higher. No such problems with the Nifty, which remains 125 points higher. Okay, we move on to another story, and this is a big one for Kotak Bank. The Bombay High Court is going to hear Kotak Mahindra Bank's plea on the promoter shareholding norms today. Where are the positions on both sides at? That is Kotak and RBI. And where are we really picking off from where the arguments were last time? Yash Jain is here to tell us exactly that. Yash, over to you.
Well, as you rightly pointed out, it's an important case, and it's just the second hearing as far as the case is concerned. The first hearing, of course, happened on December 17th, when, of course, Kotak Mahindra Bank had reached out to Bombay High Court, essentially putting up a case saying that there has been no clarity as far as the Reserve Bank of India is concerned when it comes to that December 31st deadline and the way of reducing the promoter holding, which currently stands at 30%. Of course, the promoter Uday Kotak is expected to reduce it to 20%, which was done through issuance of preference shares. But RBI had objected the first time. Kotak Mahindra Bank had reached out to the RBI before that December 31st deadline, but post which there was no sort of reply or clarification from the Central Bank of India. Of course, to comply with the deadline and to have clarity before that, Kotak Mahindra Bank had moved Bombay High Court, where they had given a very initial argument saying how issuance of preference share is in line as far as the Banking Regulation Act is concerned when it comes to dilution of promoter holding. RBI, again, on expected lines, had objected to that particular mechanism at that point of time. The court back then had reserved its order. It did not give any interim relief to promoter Uday Kotak and, of course, did not really provide a way forward at that time is concerned. They had asked the Reserve Bank of India to file their reply in the form of an affidavit when it comes to that very initial prayer from Uday Kotak when it comes to the entire mechanism. and that affidavit has been filed and will be argued as far as today's hearing is concerned. Just a heads up, the hearing is post-lunch, so we'll keep you updated as and when it moves and what is the outcome as far as the important hearing is concerned.
Absolutely, Yash. So we're going to keep coming back to you for all of those updates on Kotak. Important stock is just about higher by around 1%. We'll take a break now, but up next we're going to be discussing the market fundamentals. And as we inch closer to general elections, we have Jigar Shah, CEO of Kim Eng Securities India, who's going to be joining in with his view on how to strategize and build your portfolio. Stay tuned.